Assalamu alaikum all. Today I'm going to be talking about why Muslims are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, there are Muslims that are doing really well in the community all around the world, and whether that's in the UK, US, Canada, Australia, some are doing really well, either as like sort of IT professionals or doctors or accountants, engineers, all sorts of stuff. But some could be earning 100,000 or even more than that, but yet they're still struggling to save money and invest. And one of the main reasons for that is lifestyle creep. And I'm going to be talking about that in this video today. And yeah, this definitely comes from watching another video by Rachel Cruz, which I'll have in the description below. She's part of the Dave Ramsey kind of family. And also there's a book, a really good book called The Millionaire Next Door. And it was talking about these doctors that were earning 700,000 a year. Yet they were like just living paycheck to paycheck. So why is that, and what can we do about it? Hello, welcome to Simple Muslim Money, which is all about simple halal investing and personal finance for all Muslims. So lifestyle creep, what is that? It's basically where you kind of like, as you start earning more money, then your expenses increase. So you want a bigger car, a bigger house, more flashier clothes, like flashier trainers, start going out to more fancy places and things like that. And essentially what it comes down to is that your expenses are bigger than your income. And then what happens is that, you end up kind of getting into debt and kind of getting into trouble, or you are just about sort of keeping afloat. Another important fact is that as income increases, we sort of struggle to manage our expenses and how we manage that money, because we've got more money to kind of deal with. Because if you imagine when you're a kid and you get your £1, £2 pocket money, whatever it might be, it's a lot easier to manage. But once you start having debt and housing and other bills and stuff to have to pay, then it's a lot more to kind of manage. Another thing is like inflation. Things just cost more nowadays, and that's just going to be the way as the future goes. Things just go up in price. And if you look at back in the day, I remember if I wanted to buy a sweet, you could buy a sweet for 1p. Like, I mean, it was a fruit salad and blackjack. Whereas now you can't get anything for 1p nowadays. I think the cheapest is like 30-40p for like a small chocolate. I got like a Kinder chocolate for my son, like a Bueno. You could buy like 1 bar for like 30p, or there's like 25p Dino Freddo kind of thing. But yeah, you can't buy anything for that price anymore, and that's just the way it is. And the way to kind of get around that is investing, and what I talk a lot about in this channel. The other main problem is debt, which is a massive wealth killer. And basically when people start buying stuff with debt because they can't afford to buy it themselves. So a really key thing I definitely want to point out, and I've heard this kind of a few other people say, if you're buying something in debt, then you can't technically afford it. So when people buy cars and things like that, they're buying it on debt, and they've got this car payment that they're paying every month. It means they don't have the money to buy that car outright. So, it can be quite tricky when you do that. But I totally understand, some people have no choice and have to do things like that. However, it's something to be aware of and something we want to kind of plan on working on in the future. Another thing is like credit cards. That's just like very easy debt to get into, and something that I got into myself. Like I remember just spending 5k without even realizing. It just happened over the course of a few months. I was just spending money and wasn't aware of what was going on. Another thing is like car payments as well. People have like really expensive car payments now, maybe like up to 1,000 a month. So, they're buying a car which kind of depreciates, which kind of loses value. As the car gets older and older, it loses value. So you've kind of invested all this money in something that's kind of losing value. Unlike a house, which could potentially usually kind of goes up in value or holds its value. And things like mortgages, like, people are buying bigger houses and, taking out a mortgage that potentially they may not be able to afford. And this has been like a really massive problem, like with Muslims as well. We're trying to find Islamic ways to get finance as well and things like that. So, but we still have to be like really careful, because you can end up getting a really big mortgage, and housing is like really expensive at the moment, especially like I know in the London, UK area. And, it's something that people really struggle with. But key issue is that people just take on more debt because they believe they've earned more so they can cover more debt. But that is a very dangerous proposition to get into. As you get more debt, like the balance between your income and how you pay that debt is very fine-tuned. So if something happened to your salary, like you lost your job, then that could cause a lot of problems. Another thing is that just because people earn money, they believe that they have to appear to be rich. Okay, so I'm earning £100,000 now, so I need to drive this fancy new car. I need to live in this fancy area. I need to wear these fancy suits. And that is not the case at all. And that's just something that's been kind of ingrained in us just through all the TV and adverts and things like that. But that is not the case at all. And there's lots of people that as they earn money, they maintain the same lifestyle and invest the extra money that they are earning. And the big thing I want to stress is, what do you do if you lose your job? And that's happened to me before as well. I mean, fortunately, I was in a good position at that time, and I did get a fairly good package from the company as I was kind of made redundant. But I can imagine, if a company goes into administration or something like that and you end up losing your job, that can be very scary, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. What does that mean? you know, if you've got all these debt payments and things like that to pay. And another reason why Muslims live paycheck to paycheck is that there's no budget. They're not aware of how much money they're spending, how much money is coming in, where the different things are going on. Like you have these little vampires, like things that are just taking money out that you're not aware of, these little bits here and there. And it's just about being on top of that, being aware of that, and cutting out things that you don't like so you can spend money on things that you do like and believe in. Also, I want to stress, like, you know, if you can keep your lifestyle the same, then the more you can save and invest, the more you will have, the more earlier you can retire and just, you know, just live off those retirements. But if you don't have that, no matter if you're earning 100, 2, 3, 5, 6, 700, whatever it may be, and it's really important to be aware of that. And the great book that I'd recommend, which I'll have linked to at the top here, is about The Millionaire Next Door. It's a fantastic book, and it talks about these people that, you know, most millionaires are very kind of, you wouldn't realize they look very normal. They'll drive like a regular Toyota or something like that because they know what it means to like control their expenses and kind of invest that surplus income. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video, please check out my other video where I talk about what to do with your paycheck when it comes into your account every month.